welcome to Nourishing the Mother, where inspired women talk about the journey of motherhood through the common thread of parenting, relationship, and sexuality as a path to consciousness. We ask, in what ways can we show up more fully, live more meaningfully, parent more wholly, and love more unconditionally? How can we mine the wisdom from the experiences of our lives and expand into those challenges? If you are here, you care about paving a path of conscious and intentional motherhood, connected with yourself and your gifts, and also illuminating your children in theirs, so we may raise more whole humans who can impact this world in a more humane way. And if you feel like giving a little back to this free content, please become a patron of the show and receive extra member benefits for less than a coffee a month. Or you can leave a review on iTunes and Facebook, all of which helps the podcast keep going and reach more mamas who need this type of tonic for the soul. Head on over to patreon.com/NTM podcast to find out more. We are Julie Tenner and Bridget Wood, and we are so grateful you're here.
Hello and welcome to Nourishing the Mother. I'm Bridget Wood.
And I'm Julie Tenner. And today's podcast is how to manifest with potency.
I love this.
Because I think there's just flitting la 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 wishing.
Yes.
And then there's let's get this shit happening.
Yeah.
Let's actually put on our big girl pants and manifest. I was going to swear. I'm trying really hard not to swear as much, and you know exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to manifest like a badass.
Yes.
Is that better?
Yeah. There could be kids listening.
Well, we do have explicit on our podcast.
Do we have an explicit
Yeah.
one? We do.
Yeah, we have to.
Because
Yeah.
we laughed our heads off when we got told we had to have an explicit warning, didn't we?
I can't remember.
It was a long time ago, but I thought it was pretty funny.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Whatevs.
All right. Manifesting with potency, Bridget.
Yeah,
so
off. I am super excited about this off the back of my podcast 2 weeks ago, which was, what the fuck am I doing? Who the hell am I? I can't even think about the
You've dug pretty fucking deep in the last 2 weeks though, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't kind of know what I'm digging for just yet, but I'm feeling like more solidness.
You should never know. I don't think you should ever actually know.
Mm. That must freak a few people out right now.
What I mean is that you are designed for growth. You're not designed as a corporate machine that continues to turn over at the same pace and the same rate, doing the same thing. You're not designed for that. And I don't think that that is the movement of our culture, society, or time. I think we're in a completely transformational space where nothing that we have known in the last 100 years actually is relevant right now in the work or personal space.
Oh, I love this. It's like one of my most favourite freaking topics.
Oh, good.
You know, I just actually read The Alchemist again because I was like, this is a really good book for me to read in this space of like...
In between.
Yeah.
While you're deciding, I know, I don't lock anything in. I percolate for several weeks before I go, all right, universe. Because the thing is that you have to know, and if you listen to our wrap-up of 2019, I think it'll touch on it, is that whenever you manifest the light, the thing you really want, you have to become the person for whom that's a reality. So if you say, universe, this is the thing that I've decided I really want. There's a level of humility now that comes with me for that where I go, okay, I have enough courage and strength to deal with the storm in order to be the surfer, right? Like you were saying in last week's podcast. Is you want to be the surfer who rides the wave and feels fucking lit up while they're on their king of the world, right? But you have to be the person who can get on top of the wave.
And I have a few theories on how we get to be that person.
Good.
Well, I mean, I think it's working on how to get yourself in an energetic state of vitality, where life flows through you, so that you can then be a channel for inspiration, and then that's when the universe works on your part, because you're vibrating at a point at which you start to call things in.
Yeah.
But we can only get to that place when we move out of survival, and survival consciousness is one of the ones that keeps people really stuck and really in lack.
Yeah.
It gets really hard to move out of, and it makes everything around you seem like in opposition to you, and that you're the victim, and that nothing's going right for you, and you're in reaction and blame.
Yeah.
That's a really difficult place to manifest from. And that's why the work, and I know people are probably sick of the word gratitude, but the work is getting to the places where you see that everything that you want, you already are. And at that point, the universe can give it to you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point of manifestation. When it tips from this like yearning and desperation and clawing at something to it simply is. I mean, this is the work that I did with my fertility before I had Sylvie, because it was so elusive and painful, and like I just couldn't get it until I saw I had it. It was just in a different form. And when I saw I had it, and it wasn't missing, and I wasn't less, and it wasn't gone, it could come in.
Yeah.
The form I wanted it. But I had to see where it was. I had to see where I was. Like, we have to see where we are, the thing we want.
Yeah.
So that the form can change.
Yeah.
That's what I think. The alchemizing of manifestation happens.
What do you get out of the book, The Alchemist? What do you get out of that?
Excuse me. Well, it's really interesting. So I was reading the reading notes at the end of it, because I wanted to look at the discussion points of it. Yeah. And so, spoiler alert, I think that book is actually saying the same what I just said then, which is that the riches that you are looking for, you already are. You already have. So I don't know if you remember it. Do you remember the end of the book?
Oh, no, I don't know if I remember the exact end.
So he has to follow he has to follow these omens, and he realizes that love will follow him, and that it's not for, that many men, i.e. people, give up their truest personal, what does he call it? The personal wish, or no, whatever it's called.
Like personal power?
No, like it's like your mission. So everybody has a personal mission, but at some point in their lives, most people give it up because of all the things that they perceive are in the way.
Yeah.
And so he continues to follow the omens, and realizes that with each omen that he follows, and with each bit of personal power that he grasps, he realizes he is the alchemist. He is alchemizing things into being. He is the universe. It's essentially a tale of how you are the universe, because he works with the wind. He becomes the wind. And so he follows all of these omens, and he continues to follow this path which kept pulling him forward to seeing the pyramids. And he got to the point of seeing the pyramids, and the truth dropped in that the riches that he needed to go back and find were the very spot where his first inspiration began. Right underneath that and so he went back and he dug them and he found them. So, somebody would say, oh, but you could have cut out all that stuff. You could have cut out all of that travel and all of that heartache and all of that lost money and that lost love and all of this stuff, and just got the riches. But you couldn't, because it was only through the process that
you couldn't know it was there.
You could see what was there.
Yeah.
It was only through that process of discovery. And so that's what I think it's saying, is that
I love that, to come back to the start point, because I actually really think that about ourselves as children, and therefore our children.
Because, essentially that's the truth of it, is that whatever we were captivated by, 3, 4, 5, that's our truth.
Yeah.
Before we cut ourselves off from it.
Yeah.
And so that's why, parenting will reveal to you your truth, and it will be painful to see all the ways in which you cut yourself off from it. And so if you have issues with seeing your child truly light up and be excited and be really fulfilled and alive, it's because parts of you weren't allowed to be, because you got disconnected at that age. And so what it would be for us to parent ourselves through the edge of staying connected. You know,
so hard even just
it is, right?
Isn't it? Yeah.
And I look at all of the ways,
but it has to happen. That has to be the journey.
It has to.
Yeah,
it has to. And so it's not to guilt or shame ourselves, but to notice and to be with what parenting brings up for us, and in terms of how it's trying to lead us back to ourselves.
Yeah,
like it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and so we're talking about this and manifesting with potency. Because we discussed like how do we want to begin the year in Soul Driven Motherhood, and do we want it to be all about manifesting your motherhood for 2020, or is it much bigger than that?
Yeah, because we started with motherhood. Let's totally transform what you want your family goals to be, because often that gets left to the side, and then we're scrambling throughout the year.
Yeah,
versus actually this year I want it to be the year of. I want this child to feel this, like pick your word, right? Your intentional word, and this child for this and this child for that. Mm-hmm. I set those goals at the start of this year and they've totally happened. Mm. Like I was looking at my vision board from the start of 2019 actually the other day. All done.
Amazing.
All done, except for the beach holiday. But I actually don't think that was, as I said to you, it wasn't
beach holiday. You're talking about overseas beach holiday.
Yeah. I think I liked the idea of it, but actually at the core of it, it wasn't a truthful, and this is why we want to manifest with potency, right? Because it wasn't a truthful, aligned manifestation for me. Mm. The feeling state that I had attached to a holiday was. So if I'm on a holiday,
I'll feel
I'm abundant. I have this spare cash. I have my kids who are happy and bubbling around me, and I just want to be there, and I'm all loved up with my husband. Guess what the fuck I have? It just doesn't happen to be in Mexico.
Yeah.
Because I actually didn't really want to be there, because it's actually a huge part of me that's actually really scared to take my kids.
Yeah.
I can choose to shift that stuff. But when I look at my vision board,
you can see why that didn't.
I can see why that didn't happen in that form.
Yeah.
But the form, the wish that I attached to that did. Everything on my vision board, everything that I set at the start of January 2019, and I always kept it up. I have this, like, as I open my wardrobe cupboard and I have my mirror there, I have all this shit plastered all over my mirror, and that's where I, like, all around it.
Can you, like, Insta story your vision board?
Well, I will when we do it, maybe, because I've, like, torn a lot of stuff down now.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where I put everything. If I'm working on installing a new belief, if I'm working on an affirmation, I stick it there, because every single day, at least once, sometimes more, because my youngest daughter's clothes are in my wardrobe too. They're there. So every day I look at it and I think about it and I feel it and I visualize it, and I literally just pulled it down and went, I don't need this sheet of paper anymore, because it's done. It's all done.
So powerful.
Isn't it amazing? So I totally think we can co-create anything that we really, but it has to be a truly aligned desire.
Yeah.
That you're able to attach feeling states to, that you can send out as a frequency into the universe and continue to manifest that frequency, and that frequency comes back to you. Like, I think that is the pathway of intentional manifesting.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Totally. And in fact, as you're talking, I'm thinking about it, because I'm going home this afternoon and we're making our family vision board for the decade.
Holy shit.
So, I mean, like, it's just taking shape. When I was talking to my husband, he's like, yeah, I just want to have lots of holidays on there. Because he's long had these dreams of, like, not big ostentatious holidays, but, you know, regular holidays, and what that means for family time and experiences and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, let's all talk about what we want on there. And then you work back from once you put all of this stuff here, working back from that, what does it look like to get there? Because otherwise you just talk about things and they never actually have any kind of grounding. It just it's just like a wish.
Yeah, exactly. A wish versus a constructed goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has feet.
Yeah. A little bit like, you know, I want to be wealthy, or, you know, I want to have money.
You have to be the person.
You have to have the steps in place to grow into that.
Yeah.
And
which is the choices that a person who has that would make.
Yes.
Like, you have to still become that person.
Yeah.
Which I think also calls in, you got to be willing to, you want this thing, that's what I was trying to say before, badly enough that you're willing to be with and move through the pain that will be attached to its manifesting. Like, it will be.
And also notice that to choose that is to not choose something else.
Yes.
Often.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. This is where I want to kind of pull down the etheric and the, sunshine and rainbows.
Positivity, like,
Yeah.
all that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is you've got to understand that it's not that you're off course when you experience shadow or pain or dysfunction or obstruction. All of it is the universe trying to give you what you want, but you have to be the person who's willing to give up being the caterpillar to become the butterfly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to hang on to your caterpillarishness? Then you're here. This is your reality. You want to be the butterfly for whom your vision board is possible? Sure, but you've got to build your cocoon, dig deep, transform, and push your way out of there, like stretch, move, strain your way out of that descent. That is the process. So be careful what you put on there, because you better want it badly enough that you're willing to say yes to the stripping back that has to happen. It's inevitable.
I so love birth and my most recent birth experience for that as an example of that. Like, how badly do you want this?
Yeah.
How do you need to set yourself up for this? How much are you going to hold on to it? And who are you willing to piss off in the process?
Okay. And how much of your caterpillar identity and ego are you going to stay so attached to that you can't get out of being the caterpillar?
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus I have to continuously strip back and let go of these constructed ideals of who I think I am
And
or should be.
The control I think I have, and
all of the ego, right? In order to transform and be the alchemy.
It's massive.
Yeah. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for is a true saying. Because it comes with pain. Like at the end of so I can sit here and go, oh, so great, my 2019, like I got everything I wanted by the end of the year. But fuck, I spent 6 years, whoa, please don't say that.
6 months.
6 months in purgatory.
Yeah. I love that. I'm seeing the layers, right? What is it? Dante's.
I know what you're saying. But
Yeah. Purgatory is like the lowest one. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
Like it was really, really hard being there. Really hard. So you can still, move through the motions of life.
Yeah.
But your experience of self is designed to peel back to, I always think of it like a rolling cervix. It has to move. You have to move those layers to reveal the ones that are underneath.
I mean, I think about my 2019 and my son starting prep and my desire, I want community. Like I want friendships and I want, connections to other mothers. And what I had to face in that was all the ways I block myself off from that.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So my own pain in pursuit of that and sitting in that.
Exactly.
And going, fuck, I'm the common denominator here.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like relationship.
Exactly.
It's the same.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we're going to be manifesting with potency in Soul Driven Motherhood, but you'll have Julie and I right there to help tease out some
That's
of those
why
edges.
we've put this together, because I actually feel an enormous, I kind of hate going online and there's all this manifest everything and da-da-da. And I'm like, Jesus, like what are you setting people up for here?
Yeah, a crash. You're setting them up for a fucking crash.
Right. So that's why we've put AMPLIFY together. We are going to run it over the course of a week, and every day we're going to be dropping trainings that you follow along on a pathway to doing your own process of creating your own manifesting with intention that has legs and body of potency behind it, rather than just a wish board that you come crashing off of.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we're doing this with integrity, that what you are putting out to the universe is such an intrinsic desire to who you are that you're willing to meet the pieces of yourself that have to be shared in order for you to have those things. And we want to make sure that that is a process that you can follow, like journal work.
Yeah.
We're just going to make sure that we step it out every day.
Yeah.
And that you get to the end going, heart open, I can now light this candle and have this mini ceremony for myself out to, Grandmother Moon or the universe or whatever you choose to do, and my heart is open, I'm ready. Okay.
And the beautiful thing about doing that with the community is that we're doing it together, and the collective power of that manifestation gives it more potency. And also, there's so much we always talk about, like, the 5 people you surround yourself with, or, the containers with which you choose to immerse yourself in creates your truth and your reality and who you become. And it's the best place to begin the beginning of a year.
Yeah, it is.
So we are introducing a price rise for Soul Driven Motherhood on 1 January. So if you're listening to this, that will have just happened. We will have sent you out an
I guess
email.
if you're in Seek More, which we pre-recording,
that's right,
you'll know that.
You'll know that. But if you're listening to this recording, it has just gone up to $39 a month. But it's still amazing value for what you get to be in this special group of incredible women and mothers, and just
So every month you and I drop something amazing as a new training or learning in there.
Yeah.
But every week, it's not only are you immersing in a community, so you can't find your people anywhere, you get wishy-washy on what you want to do or how you integrate it or what your boundaries. Like, this is the community that holds you in integrity, right? And asks you to continuously rise and open your heart and have a space to put all of the things and find the answers that you can't find in the people you have around you as proximity. I actually think it's a profoundly impactful space. And as you and I say all the time, probably more to each other, which is we're going to try and change that language, is that this is parenting, absolutely, for us, has given us all of the tools that we now use in every other area of our life.
Oh, God, so true.
So true. That's not how our culture sees it.
No.
That's not how our culture approaches motherhood. But that's how we see it.
If you could quantify and monetize all of the incredible wisdom parenting has taught me, and in conscious parenting, like what we're doing, has taught me, I mean, like, this gives me a communication toolkit to communicate with the world. Like, I'm thinking about my walk home from the beach this morning, and my son obsessed with basketball. So now, what's he seeing everywhere? Basketball rings everywhere. Yeah. So I know that that's now his highest value. And I know how to communicate with people because I know what they're looking at, what they're seeing, what they're talking about. They're all their values. Yeah. So I just need to help that person feel seen and heard with what they value and how they see the world. And then I've opened their heart.
Yeah.
And I do that with my children, and I practice it multiple times a day. And so how does that not help me be a better human in this world?
Yeah.
So don't minimize your mothering.
No. Should know.
Like, it's profound.
It is actually profound. So that's the intention that we bring to Soul Driven Motherhood, because we absolutely believe that it can be the core of what you spiral around. Absolutely, because every place that you struggle and stop and close in motherhood will be how you struggle, stop and close in chaos in your world in general. Yeah. So, you pick your playground, don't you? We choose motherhood because it's deeply meaningful to us that we not only get to raise ourselves and then have a bigger impact in the world, but we get to also impact and raise these humans that will have the impact of the world.
Yeah, that's right.
So come jump into Soul Driven Motherhood if you really want to do Amplify with us and really create and set intention with purpose, integrity, alignment and potency for 2020, because that's definitely you and I doing it together, like at the same time. It's kind of why we're doing it, because we were like, we have to do this like together, and really, because I really take it seriously now. Yeah. Like, it's really, I don't think it's this etheric kind of
fun thing to do.
I actually think it's really serious because this literally can dictate what I open myself up to in 2020. I really think it's serious.
It's like, because I choose a word for every year, and
I'm always too scared to pick a word.
Do you?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about what my word is. I haven't figured it out for next year, but I posted about this on Instagram. Like, my word for 2018 was courage, and so that was the word I had to keep coming back to when I was having to have courageous conversations with my husband about having a third baby that he didn't want to have. And that word was so powerful for me to keep coming back to, which made that manifestation possible, because that's what I'd held for myself. So this is serious, right? Yeah, it's not just like a flighty thing you do. It's powerful when you give it potency.
Yeah.
Which is what we're doing.
100%. So nourishingthemother.com.au, you can find about Soul Driven Motherhood community there and get into Amplify. You'll start to see us talking about it, so you can click any of the social links to follow through from there. Soul Driven Motherhood is just $1 to try out for your first month, and then $39 thereafter to be in that pretty rad community that is there to keep you expanding in motherhood and life, really.
Totes.
So to connect with you, Bridge,
SuburbanSandcastles.com. And you, Jules?
is thepleasurenutritionist.com.
Remember to nourish the woman to rock the family.
And we'll see you next week when we continue to peel back the layers on your mothering journey. And if you want to support Nourishing the Mother and all the late nights, the early mornings, the blood, sweat and tears we pour into our art, then please go to patreon.com/NTM podcast and become our patron. As a patron, you're helping all of the cost of operating this podcast, the hosting, the editing, the transcription, helping all of that be completely covered, and joining a community who are all about honouring our journeys and continuing to open. The more support we have, the longer we can last. So become a patron. We'd love to have you. Go to patreon.com/NTM podcast. We literally couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much for listening, and please share this podcast with anyone you think it would be medicine for.
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/TheWellnessCouch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives. Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavor to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.